has vanished into thin air, never to be seen again. Never to be seen again. Never to be seen again.
Hey guys! Today I wanted to create a look based off of the new Pokemon Sun and Moon game that is coming out in 2 days now. I've been following along as all the new Pokemon designs have been released, and I'm really liking the Sun and Moon Legendaries. So this look is inspired by Lunala, the Moon Pokemon, and my Sun version will come out next week. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to see how this look came about, just keep watching. To start this one off, I had to flatten down my brows since the design goes over them. So for this, I just took some Prozaid cream and ran this over the brow hairs and then just flattened it down with a spatula. Did about 3 coats of this, and then when it was dry, I went over with powder just to make sure there was no tackiness. And then using my concealer corrector palette from NYX, I just used the pink and yellow tones to help block the color of my brows a little bit more. Then with a light blue-toned water-activated face paint from Wolf, I just mapped out the lower part of my face and the shape I want, going kind of off of pictures I had of Lunala in front of me, kind of humanizing the design, so I got a little bit creative with it. And then using a red eyeshadow, I started mapping out the eye shapes, which are pretty angular, and then also adding in the little half moons that come off of the top of them. For a pigmented tacky base, I used the red from my Flash palette and filled in the area I had outlined around my eyes. From there, I set the cream with a hot pink eyeshadow from Sugar Pill, and then also applied a neon pink pigment to the very center of my lids. I did this to try and mimic the glowing look of the eyes and have both a red and pink undertone, since there seems to be both in the concept art that I've seen so far. To fill in the forehead and the area around my eyes, I just took a water-activated face paint in a cobalt blue color. And with a fine detail brush, I used this to better define the eye shapes and the lines along the top of my cheekbones. I took my time with this so I could properly define the crescent moon shapes and make sure they were relatively even, since I had been kind of messy with them originally, and this step allowed me to really clean them up. From there, I took a white cream from the Flash palette again and just applied this in little sporadic areas along the forehead, and then took a blue eyeshadow and a plum purple color and applied this all over as well in the same kind of random patterning. After that, I took a blue and purple glitter. These ones are from Lit Cosmetics, and I just applied those around so that when you move your head, you'd have a bit of a reflex to give that kind of galaxy feel. You could keep this a flat blue or purple like the design, but I've really enjoyed different renditions of Lunala with a galaxy-style forehead and wings, so that's why I did it this way. And then I also used a white face paint to add star dotting and to do some flicking along the forehead, and then I also drew out some more animated style stars just for that Pokemon animation feel.
Into thin air, never to be seen again.
To just hint at a more angular eye shape, I just went ahead and did a cat eye liner with some black liquid liner. And then taking a black eyeshadow, I kind of just ran this around the outside of the eye design just to kind of better define it and make it look a little bit more smoky, since I thought just the red against the blue was a little bit flat looking. So this just helps a little bit more on the dimension front. With a blue eyeshadow that was slightly darker than my base color for the lower part of my face, I just went ahead and added a little bit of contouring so there'd be a bit more shape along my cheekbones and nose bridge. And then I also added this just along the edges of where the dark blue meets the light blue on the face. To kind of incorporate the actual crescent moon shape that's above Lunala's head, I went ahead and did the spike markings that are seen on there in the blue. I just mapped this out with a blue eyeshadow at first, and then when I was pretty comfortable that they were decently even, I went ahead and filled them in with the same cobalt blue that I did on the forehead. If you mess up here at all or the lines aren't as clean as you like, you can go back to the same blue that you went over the lower part of the face with and just clean up those lines and make them a little bit sharper, which is what I did since mine weren't the prettiest. And then again, incorporating those gold tones that are on Lunala's headpiece, I went ahead with the golds from my Flash palette and filled in along my neck and ears. And then to give a much more metallic gold look, I just went over everything with a gold pigment from Sugar Pill and pressed that on top, and it kind of gave a lot more of that metal reflect. For the neck and chest area, I mapped out the kind of rib cage look that leads into the wings on Lunala. And then using the same light blue from the face, I laid down where the center glow is on the chest and used the blue face paint again to fill in around that entire area. I wanted the bone-like design to be more white, but I also wanted it to transition from the face color, so I started with the blue at the top of the design and then moved it into my white face paint and then just filled in everything. You can see here I kind of laid down where all the colors were meant to go, and then through the magic of editing, it is all just instantly filled in. From there, I feathered out the inner glow inside the chest a little bit with the same blue tone and a bit of white. And then I also used a little bit of black shadow just to help better define the separation point between the gold and the white blue color. And then going back to the same color I used when I was kind of contouring my face, I just applied this over the white blue area just to give a little bit more dimension, a little bit more shape to that area. And with that same thought in mind, I also used the black to kind of shade the outside of the blue areas where they meet with the white rib caging, whatever you want to call it. And I just kind of feathered this inwards, again, just to better help define it, give a little bit more of definition to that area, and create a little bit of a hint of a shadow from where it overlays the inside of the chest. This was pretty much the last step I did for the makeup. All I did to kind of bring the whole look together was throw in a pair of light gray contacts and then also take the gold that I had used along my neck and ears and ran it through the top of my hairline just to, again, kind of hint towards that gold crescent moon shape that is actually a part of Lunala's design. But that is it for my Pokemon Moon tutorial, and I hope you guys like this one. I will have Sun for you next week, and for those of you getting the game, tell me in the comments which starter you think you will choose, because I would love to know. But until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe and all that awesome stuff if you want to see more. But until then, I will see you next video. Bye guys.